Today we're getting into the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, including the huge Tesla holiday update incoming, Model Y selling out in China, Waymo's massive expansion, Jeff Bezos' new project Prometheus, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Plod for sponsoring this video. First up today, we're always seeing new software updates from Tesla, and going out right now seems to be the foundation for the future holiday update. This is version 2025.44, and included with this is a dashcam update for Intel cars. Those have Intel processors instead of the latest AMD processors in Tesla vehicles for the infotainment. The dashcam viewer app has been updated with a grid view, making it easier to access and review recordings. There's also a minor update where you can now choose to exclude home when cabin overheat protection or no AC is enabled, and then the UI shows a supercharger, wall connector, mobile connector, or third-party charger when connected to the car. The big news here, though, is that there are rumors about what the Tesla holiday update will be for this year. This has become a tradition at Tesla. Back in 2018 was the first holiday update included in the Model 3. It introduced the browser, calendar, and energy app for the Model 3. Then across all vehicles, there was the first beta of Navigate on Autopilot, which included lane changes. They had Keep Climate On, Emissions Testing Mode, and Romance Mode. In 2019, they added the theater, which had Netflix. They added karaoke, Spotify, and Smart Summon. In 2020, they introduced new games, including Cat Quest, Battle of Polytopia, and Solitaire. There were UI and visual improvements, scheduled departure enhancements, boombox, upgrades to emissions testing mode, and then text messaging. Then in 2021, they launched OS version 11, which was a new interface, a customizable dock, side cameras as blind spot monitors. That was new in 2021, even though we're very used to that now. New games, which included Sonic the Hedgehog, automatic seat heater based on cabin temperature, car wash mode, and then Sentry mode live camera access to the app. Again, we're used to having all of these features all of the time now, but at one point they were added to the car. Then in 2022, they introduced Steam Gaming for certain years of the Model S and X, although this was later removed. They added Apple Music, auto-cancel turn signal, Bluetooth game controller support, MyQ garage door opener support, and Zoom. In 2023, they brought alternate routes and navigation, custom lock sounds, high-fidelity park assist, rear screen games and Bluetooth headphones, blind spot camera alerts, and speed camera icons on navigation maps. Then last year, they added Apple Watch support, dashcam and Sentry mode video updates through the app, Sirius XM support for the Model 3, Y, and Cybertruck, weather at your destination, a radar map for AMD and Intel vehicles, rear cross-traffic alerts, and then theater improvements in general. As you can see, there have been a ton of great updates brought with holiday updates over the years. So now, what is expected this year? First is a revamped Santa mode for the refreshed Model S and X, which will improve the animations, visuals, and possibly utilize the rear screen. It looks like they're also going to be adding a wake word for Grok, something like Hey Grok or Hey Tesla. I'm going to guess it's Hey Grok because Hey Tesla doesn't really make sense since it's not actually really integrated to operating things in the vehicle. Then they're adding Grok support for older Intel MCU vehicles, so more cars will get that assistant. Grok is also expanding into more regions beyond the US and Canada as the cloud and processing capacity there scales. They're going to be adding more custom wrap and license plate visualizations for more models to allow more in-vehicle personalization. Enhanced visualizations for FSD are expected, with more detailed 3D models of vehicles and objects. Driver profile updates could include lumbar support adjustments, finally, saved to your profile. We're expecting expanded UI charging visualizations in the car that show what type of charger you're using, and we talked about that already arriving on some cars. We may finally see Tesla start shifting to using Unreal Engine for certain graphics in the car. And then the thing that would make that Hey Tesla command make more sense for Grok is Grok integration into more vehicle controls. This is somewhat speculative, but people are hoping we can ask things like ask Grok to adjust the AC, change navigation, and more, all using natural language instead of the basic voice commands Tesla vehicles include. That one, as well as the rest of these, are a little more things that people hope to see for this holiday update, as opposed to being a little more likely. Boombox version 2 is also something people are hoping for here, which could include expanded customizations for horns, driving and lock sounds, remote sounds via the app, and more. And then there have been all of those rumors of Apple CarPlay support being added to Tesla vehicles. This does seem quite likely and seems like something Tesla will probably be adding soon here, but the question is, will we see it next month with this holiday update? It might make sense in this update, although it may be something that they don't really want to push as like, hey, this exciting new feature, since they've resisted it for so many years. So those are all things we could actually see here, but some things people want to see are major improvements to Smart Summon, especially for the Cybertruck, which has not had this capability. Then Tesla and Elon Musk have talked about Banish for a long time, which is the feature that would allow you to send the car to park for itself. Seeing that, along with reduced driver monitoring requirements for FSD, are things that people are hoping for, but seem a little less likely for this particular holiday update. As for timing here, the update is expected to roll out on the software version 2025.44, with extra numbers at the end of that in the coming weeks. It aims to be Tesla's biggest update of the year, as always, and hopefully it includes some fun as well as a lot of utility. What's a feature you'd love to see in this Tesla holiday update though? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Next up today, we hear a lot of back and forth on how Tesla sales are doing as a whole. We hear that Tesla sales are not doing well in China, and then we see them introduce the Model Y L. We hear similar in the United States, then see this new affordable Model Y that isn't quite as affordable as we may have wanted to see. However, it does seem like things are going quite well in China. The order page for the Model Y in China now shows a message indicating that the company's remaining 2025 sales capacity is effectively sold out. This applies to all 4 variants of the Model Y offered in China. Delivery estimates for the base rear-wheel drive and Model Y L show around 4 to 8 weeks, but for the long-range rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive variants, they show delivery times up to 13 weeks, which would indicate that that's beyond the end of this year. This is of course for custom ordering your Tesla with specific options, so it seems like over there you could probably still get certain trims of this car in inventory. However, this longer delivery window does seem to suggest strong demand for the Model Y over in China as we approach the end of the year, despite local competition growing from BYD like we talk about a lot, but also Xiaomi with the YU7. In addition, over in China, the full self-driving version 14 has not yet received full regulatory approval, but Elon Musk stated full approval for FSD in China is expected around February or March of 2026. As always, I wouldn't be surprised if that arrives a little late over in China, having to do with maybe Tesla being delayed, but also regulatory approvals. But FSD is fairly new over in China from Tesla, so we'll see if that is something that is actually impacting sales there. Regardless, for right now, it seems like Tesla is doing quite well selling their production of Model Ys in all of its trims, including the Model Y L over in China. Before we go any further, I want to ask you a question. Ever had a moment where you're in a meeting, totally present, nodding along, and then when someone asks a follow-up, your mind just goes completely blank? That's where today's sponsor, Plod, can come in. The Plod Note Pro is an AI assistant that transcribes and summarizes your meetings and phone calls. It features a simplistic design and a business-oriented look, which makes it perfect for professionals with back-to-back meetings. With 4 studio-grade mics and noise canceling, it can pick up clean audio up to 16 feet away and runs 30 to 50 hours straight, while your phone might not even survive one long meeting. It perfectly integrates with smartphones via the Plod app as well. That's where you'll find AI-powered features such as summaries, highlights, transcriptions, insight and data extractions, to-do lists, and an in-depth analysis of what you've recorded. The Ask Plod feature can draft a stakeholder email, extract a data report, brainstorm on a topic with you, and highlight key considerations for decision-making. It's a ChatGPT-like function, but more contextually intelligent. Then the Plod Note Pro can attach right to your smartphone with a MagSafe case, or they also offer the Note Pen, which can be easily attached to clothing. That one can record from up to 9 feet away for up to 20 hours nonstop and can be worn as a pin, clip, lanyard, or wristband. Plus, every device is built with your privacy in mind. To check out the Plod Note Pro for yourself, click the link in the description below. Thanks to Plod for sponsoring. Next up today, the latest for Tesla's full self-driving and robotaxi expansion. For full self-driving, version 14.1.7 is going to more Tesla owners right now, and this includes the Model 3, Y, S, X, and Cybertruck. This is an update that I'd argue is desperately needed. We've had some rain in California recently. It hasn't been too insane, but using FSD has been pretty brutal, in that rain and out of the rain. I've experienced so many false stops, so much jitter, that it's far worse than the version 13 that I upgraded from on my current up-to-date Model Y. Hopefully a lot of those issues get fixed in this latest version, because I also had a really bad false stop to completely 0 miles per hour that threw everything in my car and was just for nothing, maybe some leaves. It's always tough because Tesla is going so far this direction with full self-driving and saying that they're going to be producing the Cybercab without a steering wheel or pedals in April. But then we see the latest version of full self-driving get released, and it's always that 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of thing. So hopefully this 0.7 update does fix a lot of those issues, although the people that are in early access for that have reported similar things as well. Now, regarding the robotaxi network, Tesla has been spotted with validation vehicles in Enola, Pennsylvania. This is an interesting location because this is a full 110 miles from downtown Philadelphia. So it shows that they're expanding to a lot of different areas, or at least looking at a lot of different areas. But one area we should see expand very soon is Arizona. If you go to Arizona, especially Phoenix, you'll see Waymos all over there. And Tesla has officially received approval from the Arizona Department of Transportation to launch robotaxis on public roads in the state of Arizona. Tesla met the requirements to operate as a TNC, and this permit came in as of November 17th. And this actually isn't limited to any specific city in Arizona, although we do expect Phoenix to be the first city since it's very popular. I'm excited to hear that because I do find myself going out to Phoenix occasionally, especially to play at the Musical Instrument Museum there. And I've used a few Waymos, so I'd love to be able to use robotaxis. Now, for the robotaxi network specifically, Tesla pushed an update on November 12th that added cleaning fees. In the robotaxi app, it now includes wording that says additional cleaning was required for the vehicle after your trip. A fee has been added to your final cost to cover this service. The cost isn't shown in the release notes, but riders may be notified of the fee once the vehicle returns to the factory. For lost items, the app now imposes a time limit for reporting your lost items. You'll see report a lost item by date. If you try after the cutoff date, the app will warn you that it is no longer accepting lost item reports. So far, these are undocumented changes, but the robotaxi service is actually now wide to all iOS users. You've been able to download this app for a while now, but anyone that wants to and is in the Bay Area or Austin, Texas, and has an iOS device can now call a Tesla robotaxi. You can check the app, there is no invite needed, and you just, of course, need to be in that area. I'll actually be in the Bay Area this Saturday for a gig, so I will definitely check this out, and I'm sure I'll be over in Austin soon enough. I wanted to check it out last time I was there, but I didn't have access. Now everyone has access. For now, of course, these are Model Ys that are operating as robotaxis, and they have safety monitors in either the passenger seat or the driver's seat. And this past week, we saw something that is a very bad look for this. A safety driver was spotted falling asleep multiple times reportedly. Quote, the user says they immediately filed a report through Tesla's robotaxi support system, offering the videos, but received no response after more than a week. As we can see here, the system does act as designed and does alert the driver, but regardless, this is very bad and a very bad look for this system as a whole. Also, it's really dangerous. Yes, the goal here is that this system works without that safety monitor, but they aren't there yet. That's why he's there. This guy is there to take over, and he's ultimately responsible for taking over if anything were to happen. Having that person fall asleep is not good, and definitely not a good look for this robotaxi network as a whole, so hopefully this is something that never happens again, and I'm sure this person was fired. Now, going into the future here, Tesla, of course, will be making the dedicated Cybercab, and more Cybercab castings have been appearing at Giga Texas. This seems to show that Tesla is preparing for trial production ahead of mass production in April. Again, it's one of those interesting things where we have the latest version of FSD with a lot of jitters and stutters, and then we have employees falling asleep as safety monitors, but we do have them expanding into new markets, like seemingly Phoenix next or somewhere in Arizona, and then the robotaxi should be just around the corner without a steering wheel or pedals. It's a very big gamble, and we'll see if it pays off for Tesla. Now, of course, their biggest competition at this point is Waymo, and Waymo is launching fully driverless operations with no human safety drivers in Miami. This is already launched with the vehicle's seat empty and the Waymo itself in full control. Right now, this expansion includes 5 new US cities. Miami is now open, and then in the coming weeks, they're expanding to Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and Orlando. This is one of Waymo's most aggressive rollouts yet, building beyond its current markets like San Francisco, LA, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Austin. The initial phase will start with employees or controlled deployments, with a transition to a public paid service in those regions planned for 2026. What's interesting to see here in particular is that Florida and Texas tend to be leading this expansion, and it's due to friendly regulatory frameworks and large urban areas that are favorable for autonomous vehicle scaling in general. For now, these are the cities they're expanding in, and they're already starting in Miami, but they do plan to expand to Detroit, Las Vegas, Nashville, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and even London soon. Next up today, over at Volvo, they announced that they are dropping LiDAR and ending their partnership with Luminar, starting with the 2026 EX90 and ES90 models. Volvo says that Luminar failed to meet contractual obligations, and the company wants to reduce supply chain risk. As a result, 2026 models will no longer include the roof-mounted LiDAR unit, marking a major reversal from Volvo's earlier safety strategy where this LiDAR was a headline feature. Volvo now says that their safety and driver assist systems can achieve a high level of safety with or without LiDAR. So this is definitely a shift towards cameras, radar, and software-based solutions, kind of more in line with what Tesla has been arguing for a long time. There has been no replacement LiDAR supplier named, so it seems like they're probably just pivoting away from it here. This is a major blow for Luminar, which relied heavily on Volvo as a flagship customer and is already facing financial instability. This does seem to potentially be one of our first hints outside of Tesla that the industry at large is reconsidering LiDAR in consumer vehicles. Of course, they're balancing cost, design, supply chain complexity, and evolving confidence in vision-heavy systems. I'm very curious to see what this looks like in the coming years because we've had a lot of automakers announce that they're adding LiDAR, but here we're seeing one already taking it away. Next up, over at Jeep, the 2026 Jeep Recon is their second EV, and it's inspired by the iconic Wrangler. This is offering removable doors and a rugged off-road design, and the launch price will come in just under $67,000 in the US. For the powertrain, it has dual electric motors, which produce 650 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque, enabling a 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. The estimated driving range is up to 250 miles, with the initial Moab version offering about 230 miles, and this is on a 100 kilowatt-hour battery. So when you do the math there, it's not the most efficient car in the world. But this is because it's ultimately a Jeep. It's built on the Stellantis large platform and features a unibody construction with a 400-volt architecture. Some of the off-road features in particular include all-wheel drive as a standard feature, an electronically locking rear differential, 33-inch all-terrain tires on the Moab trim, skid plates, a sealed and waterproof battery and electrical components, and then the big one, a 9.1-inch ground clearance. All of those things work together to ensure that this isn't the most efficient car in the world, and it's why we're not seeing over 300 miles for such a large battery pack. But of course, that seems to be the trade-off that Jeep owners are looking for in this case. For the interior, it has a 12.3-inch driver display and a 14.5-inch center display. This will be built in Mexico and then go on sale in early 2026 after production starts. Next up, a couple of updates from Jeff Bezos in particular. First, he is returning to an operational role as the co-CEO of new AI startup Project Prometheus. The company has raised about $6.2 billion and aims to build AI for the physical economy, things like manufacturing, aerospace, engineering, and related industries. Prometheus has hired roughly 100 employees, pulling talent from a lot of companies you've heard of like Meta, OpenAI, and DeepMind, and this is Jeff Bezos' first CEO-type role since leaving Amazon in 2021, aside from his involvement with Blue Origin. Details here like a product roadmap or anything are undisclosed, but the massive funding signals ambitions to become a major AI player from day one. At this point, it kind of seems like you'd be hard-pressed to find a billionaire that isn't heavily invested in AI for the long future. But back over at Amazon, Ford is now letting Amazon customers browse and purchase Ford-certified pre-owned vehicles via Amazon's platform. This is initially arriving in US markets including Los Angeles, Seattle, and Dallas. And these are specifically certified pre-owned, so they're only including vehicles that have passed Ford's inspections and warranty standards. One of the big draws here is that buyers can complete much of the transaction online. For instance, you can browse inventory, do your financing, and do e-paperwork, and then pick up the vehicle at a participating Ford dealership. Around 160 to 180 Ford dealers have expressed interest in this program, with 20 already in the process of launching. Ford joins Hyundai here, which earlier partnered with Amazon for new vehicles, so Ford here is the second major automaker to sell via Amazon's car platform. This seems to signal Ford's push to enhance its online sales presence and meet changing consumer preferences, because a lot has changed, especially thanks to Tesla. People like buying cars online and not dealing with the dealership experience, and here they're diving in. Last up today over at XAI, Grok 4.1 has launched. It's now live for all users on Grok.com and the mobile apps, and you can directly select this or get it via auto. The focus for this update is on more natural, emotional, creative, and collaborative responses while staying reliable. This uses XAI's large-scale RL system plus agentic reasoning reward models to refine tone, personality, and alignment. They actually did a silent rollout that happened from November 1st to 14th to test on real user traffic, and it seems that 64.78% of users preferred this new model. In certain benchmark tests, this is performing as number 1, and then number 2 for a non-reasoning mode. One of the big things here as well that's always important is reduced hallucinations, but of course, we can't wait for the day when there are no hallucinations. That's all the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the latest details on how Apple is partnering with Tesla, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.